Welcome back to this T5 camper conversion. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to thermal line the floor, and again I'm using a Dodo matte product and it is really good. It gets some rave reviews, so I thought I might as well give it a go myself. So I'm not sure whether I've made a slight boo-boo on my calculations or whether I've just been a tight northerner. The mistake I've done, I've got to get round, is that I bought one of these and I should have bought two. The Dodo people advised me to. What is it and what does it do? So without reading all the side of that, it's basically 7mm thick, and it's a combination of the bitumen and the sound deadening that we've already used on the side, all in one product. So it is an insulation layer as well as a bit of sound deadening, so it's going to make a big difference to this nice tinny van, which is a difference straight away on the walls. I know everyone does this test, but so one thing that I've already done to prep this vehicle is I've sanded all down all the rusty bits that built up. So white hammerite on lots of areas. So particularly inside this step that had loads of surface corrosion on there. It wasn't deep, but it was just looked all rusty and lots of dirt that built up. So cleaning it with panel wipe is definitely key, because I've been in and out of it since we washed it down the first time when we scrubbed out the van. So that is all degreased, because the sticky stuff is really going to stick, because that's why it's called sticky stuff. So what I'm going to do is be really economical with this. So I've hatched a cunning plan. It's not a very good plan. So let's get started. So remember, when you cut it, don't measure and then suddenly go, I've come up too short, because remember these little ribs go up and down, so that's all surface area that you've got to fill. So cut a little bit longer, and then we can just trim it off and start off another piece. And I'm going to attempt to use scissors first of all. That's actually cutting all right, that. So let's just try it with a Stanley knife as well. Also quite good. Yeah, I think the Stanley knife's going to be the winner on that one. So as you can see there, it's a two construction. So it's like the original Dodo mat, and then it's got this other foam that's connected straight onto the top of it. So that's why it's a dual layer. This stuff is so sticky, it sticks to anything, but we've used panel wipe, I've got clean hands. And we're committed. So the main thing is, even on the very first ridge, just get a little bit of your tool in and just get it pushed into the edge of this rib best we can. Again. Just feel the third one. So that first piece was a little bit harder than I expected. After watching video after video after video how to do it, and I'm sure this isn't the first video you've watched either. So let's give you some realistic little tips here from an amateur. So pushing it in between the ribs on here, because we noticed that there was two short ones. Getting it in between there, it just wants to create a little bit of an air pocket. So what I've done is pushed down with my fingers, and it feels like I've sort of like cracked a little bit of the aluminium barrier just to put it down there, which is probably better than having a void. But straight away, the old knock test. Hopefully you can see the frequency change in that, and just putting your hand on it, it feels really, really warm. Well, it's the same temperature, it just doesn't conduct the heat away. But yeah, that does make a difference. So let's get cracked on, do another bit. So realistically, trying to follow all these ridges up is really, really difficult. But if we compare, I have been pushing it down, I've been trying to catch, but it's just not, just leaving a little bit of a gap. But this little tool, if I push it in, so if I do it that way with a bit more pressure, you can hear the aluminium crack in it. It just separates. So that's essentially the little voids I'm talking about that we're trying to avoid. You can see how that's now bonded on. But that's making a massive difference straight away. I can hear it. Let's see how much of this I've got left. So I've done 3 sheets. It doesn't look a lot, so let's see whether we can get 2 lots out of it. Well, that's not as great as I've actually hoped. So what I think I'll do is I'll follow the principles of sound deadening and then worry about the insulation using the other stuff. So I'm basically going to put that right in the middle because this needs to be done. I've got a very short period, it was probably about 37 days from filming to needing to use this van. 37 days is not a lot. Once again, the Site Northern has decided he knows best. He's got a couple extra quid in his pocket, but it's not really the right result. So please leave the comments down below of how much of an idiot I am, because I already know. So let's see where I went wrong. So I've essentially got these 3 pieces left over. So this is where I'm going to put the last 3 pieces, and I'm going to explain why. So as we've already covered, I'm primarily covering the key points, leaving underneath the cupboard because the ply is going to go to the top of the ribs and the units are going to come along here. So I've been a little bit too economical. Now realistically, if I would have bought 2 rolls, I would have had 3/4 of the second one left over and probably have had to use it on the front end. So this is what the area that I've got left. So I've strategically pop that there because the ply is going to be on that rib, it's going to be on that rib, the unit's pretty much going to be here and these bits. So with the acoustics, I'm going to have to put one of these here, and it actually feels so much better on your knees as well as you're crawling around trying to sort it out. So it makes a massive difference. I actually wish I'd done this first before I'd done the rest, just for that knee protection. So why have I chosen to strategically put them in these bits? So in my head, the plywood is going to come across here and I'm going to screw it into here. So these are all going to be the same level as the rest of it. So it's going to help equal out the height. So I'm going to fill these in. So I've come up with my solution. Technically, sort of right, not ideal by no means, but it's better than nothing. So let's see what I've done. So the film that we've used on here, so I've used a majority of these bits, but I was just starting to get a little bit concerned I might be using a little bit too much, because I'm still umming and ahhing whether to do this bit as a bit of an underlay, because we can sort of see that it's a battered used fan, and I've never really noticed that, on whether the actual 4-way carpet will actually hide that, or whether we use that almost like an underlay. So I was concerned on how much I was going to use. Plus anything that's left over will probably be going in the Corrado or another project I've got, because that will probably do with a little bit of thermal lining and sound deadening. So I might as well do the 2 in 1. So the other thing, I had some stuff left over from laminate flooring. So this sort of easy cut domestic sort of stuff, it's not ideal, but it's better than just having no void. So here I've just filled in that area, because we've got to remember the cupboards are underneath here and there's a full ply floor going over this. So I'm just going to line everything up ready. So we're going to cut the ply in the morning, do the floor. So I'm going to spend the rest of the night just messing around. I might have a go doing the seat.